I think I'm gonna go home and have some fun. Maybe put some of these berries into some mesquite cookies, maybe? That'd be cool, right? Hackberries in mesquite cookies. It's November 30th. It's a week after the last time I came here, and I was hoping to have a lot more berries, and it's not real great this year. The berries I picked last week, even though they didn't seem quite ripe, you know, they were a little hard, still I dried them, and I tried one and it's almost as good as a raisin. So what I would say about a raisin is, to me, it's a little too sweet. These, when they're dried, are just right. They're very sweet. So I'm definitely going to make some mesquite cookies with desert hackberry. One more thing I'm going to do just for the experiment, because isn't that what I do? I'm going to take some desert hackberry leaves and I'm going to dry them and treat them like an herb and make a tea out of them and just find out what it tastes like. Sometimes a lack of information on the medicinal value of a plant doesn't necessarily mean that it has none, because you also have to bear in mind that the ancient Indian medicine men had a lot of secrets that they kept. They never intended to share some of their medicine secrets with anyone. It's actually amazing. It's something to be very thankful for, that we've learned some of the medicine secrets of the old medicine men. It's also great that we have modern science that can actually investigate any claims about medicinal plants and whatever. But for instance, it is known that medicine men knew of a root from some plant that could cure the effects from a snake bite. Well, wouldn't that be amazing if we knew what that was? But it was a secret that was never passed down, and so we don't know what root that was. Wouldn't that be good to know? So it's kind of important, I guess, for people to not just assume that if there's no information that this plant does nothing. And just to clarify, it's not that the medicine men didn't pass down knowledge of their medicine plants. They only passed it down oftentimes. Some of those plants they would only pass down to whoever it was that was their student on their deathbed. But if, let's say, the cavalry came through and murdered an entire band of Indians, including their medicine man, there would be nobody that he could pass that down to. So that would be information that is permanently lost until somebody digs it up again and rediscovers it. In the meantime, somebody asked what the leaves taste like. Okay. They taste like grass. Not bitter, not sweet, not terribly difficult to chew up. They may be okay boiled. I'm going to see if it gives me any negative effects. I just ate one leaf. I will say that I taste mucilage or mucin. You know, that thing that's kind of slimy that you have in okra. It tastes like there's a lot of that in there. So this may be useful for fighting, say, adult onset diabetes or whatever other things mucilage is good for, could be useful, for example, dealing with nausea and vomiting. Who knows? Maybe someday we'll find out. I found that when I just pull these seeds and their husks out of the mesquite pods, and I don't worry about taking the seeds out of the husks at all when I'm processing the pod. I just leave it out in the open air to dry. Then it dries out so well that just a couple smacks with a little rock, we'll split it open and the seed pops right out. It makes it really easy. I'm about to find out what a tea or infusion from the leaves of desert hackberry tastes like. I've given it time enough to dry thoroughly. So the water is boiling right now. This is well dried. Again, the reason you dry the leaves is to make sure that all of that good medicine you want actually breaks free from the leaf material, gets into the water. Okay. Sweet. All right. So, as soon as that's done boiling, we're on. All right. Give it 15 minutes to steep, and then we're ready. Okay, so there's some good information on the way Indians used to use hackberry and other related things. Sugarberry, also for food and medicine. This is a good webpage. If you go to the American Indian Health and Diet Project, that's aihd.ku.edu. There's some good info there. Good ideas for food concepts. All right, so here's what this website says about the medicinal uses of sugarberry and hackberry. The Homa used sugarberry bark to make a decoction for sore throats, in a compound decoction mixed with powdered shells to treat venereal disease. The Iroquois took decoctions of hackberries to regulate menses. The longer I let these mesquite pods dry, the easier they are to work. I'm just using the smallest rock I have here in my little collection for the metate. Whoa. It gets so brittle that and this one's a little tougher than some of the other ones, but yeah, it gets so brittle it just crumbles apart as I'm working it, which is awesome because these seeds, when it's crumbling, the seeds and their husks just fall out, and then they very easily split open with hardly any effort. And of course, if I was using the old-fashioned, the metate and mono for grinding up the flour, then the more brittle is, the better. If I could use last year's mesquite pods this year, that would probably be ideal, because I want to make some really good, nice, fine mesquite flour for my hackberry cookies. Cool thing is, no sweetener will be necessary because mesquite flour is a sweetener. So I think about 20 minutes has passed while this has been steeping, so that should be enough time for me to know if I like hackberry leaf tea without the hackberries as a sweetener. Smells interesting. You know what this reminds me of? Chamomile, kind of. Not that it tastes the same, but that it's soothing. I think if I had a stomach ache, if I had the flu, you know, if I was getting like fluttery stomach issues or something, I think this would go down so smooth, it would probably really help. Now it smells like, I don't know, like wet hay. Okay. The taste is not at all disagreeable. It's really pretty good. I mean, I might even put it right up there with chamomile or something. It has its own flavor, but it's just really smooth. And I think what it is, remember I said I believe there's mucilage or mucin in it? I think that's what that is. So this may be helpful for stomach issues or you know, flu or nausea or something. Yeah, so I would consider this to be, unless I start puking later, which I will tell you, I would consider this to be a success. You know, I would be an idiot if I don't see what this tastes like with some mesquite sweetener. Boom! I don't know, a couple shovels full. I'll find out. This is awesome. Except that was probably too much. It doesn't want to mix up, you know, the way you would expect sugar to or something. I think probably half that might have been good. Yeah, there's a lot of floaty in here. Okay, all right, with mesquite. Yeah, that's even better. You gotta keep it mixed well. You can throw this in a blender and have a perfect outcome. Okay, now that's good. That's really good. I've just made a discovery. It appears that if mesquite pods are as dry as they should be, the seeds should rattle. Because these are really easy to work the way they are right now. And they're like little muffled rattlesnake rattlers. That's cool. And now for something completely different. All right. I'm gonna make my desert hackberry mesquite cookies. Okay. Yeah, just use all of it. I'll make more. There we go. Okay. Now this is the infusion made from the desert hackberry leaves, and I'm going to use this as my water to make my dough. Woo. Got a little too wet there. It needs more flour. I'm so excited to see the result of this. Time for the cookie test. That's interesting. The seeds in the berries are crunchy. This is really good. It's amazing that there's no sugar at all. It's amazing that it was not baked at all. I wonder what it would be like if it was baked. I mean, it's hard to imagine improving on it, but who knows? I mean, that might taste really good too. I can just say that this is definitely a success. No question about it. I'm pretty happy with the result. It's very soft. It's very moist. Man, this is good. So this could be stored for long term. You know, you could put in a storage basket. You could take it with you while you're hiking. So, you know, it's not something that has to be refrigerated. And it doesn't taste nasty. It tastes sweet. It works with the sugar-trained taste buds that we have in this modern society. It's different. It has a unique flavor, a unique smell. But man, that was a good idea.